Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Please sit back, relax, strap on your seatbelt, open your mind, use your eyes, truth in plain sight. Hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. And let's do it.
It's flat, the moon landing's fake. Lizard people rule us, for goodness sake. Chemtrails in the sky, they're controlling our minds. This ringtone's the truth that everyone finds. It's the conspiracy theorist hotline, uncovering secrets all the time. If you hear this tone, and the truth will be told about aliens, Bigfoot, and conspiracies all. The earth is flat, the moon landing's fake. Lizard people rule us, for goodness sake. Chemtrails in the sky, they're controlling our minds. This ringtone's the truth that everyone finds. It's the conspiracy theorist hotline, uncovering secrets all the time. If you hear this tone, and the truth will be told about aliens, Bigfoot, and conspiracies all.
Today we're going to take a dive into some deep energy weapons, where they possibly come from and what they look like and what they do. Could you imagine if direct energy weapons come from the study and the fighting of dragons from our ancient past? I know they tell us that dragons aren't real, but they also tell us that we live on a globe. And thousands of years ago, everybody knew the earth was flat and everybody knew dragons were real. And they were out there fighting them. And maybe that's where we get these EMPs from, and these laser weapons that do all kinds of things, from attack our immune systems to our brains to start fires, earthquakes, whatever they do. Let's check this out. It's cool.
Oh, I got their ass now. Dragons were never meant for fire. Actually, you'd be a fool to actually think these beautiful ethereal creatures would actually be breathing that primitive shit. What they were doing was, they were charging up and sending out EMPs. And guess what stops an EMP? Yes, a properly constructed Faraday cage can protect electronic devices from the effects of an electromagnetic pulse. The cage works by redirecting electromagnetic energy around the protected space, preventing it from reaching the devices inside. Faraday cages are enclosures made of conductive materials like metal mesh or foil. Now, we know they have to tell us through the looking glass. So, once I came up with this, I said, man, they already showed us. Where did they show us dragons charging up and sending out EMPs? So the dragons were flying around, charging up, and sending out EMPs. They didn't expect us to catch it in Godzilla. What the fuck do you think Godzilla is? Godzilla's a fucking dragon. Yeah, where does he come from? Down below. Where? In a hole. Right? Just like what? Just like a goddamn dragon. And he charges up, does he not? Then he sends out a EMP blast, right? And what protects you from an EMP blast? A Faraday cage.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a highly dangerous experiment. Our Brady Johnson right over there is actually risking his life for the sake of science, okay? Now, while waiting for our opponent to get ready, let me share with you a few information of what's going to happen, okay? Singapore, ready? Here we go! Sir, are you okay?
So now that you're aware of electromagnetic pulses, dragon abilities, how they charge, that they don't use fire, and why you need a Faraday cage, we have to start looking at dragons differently. We have to look at everything differently. Because it wasn't only an electromagnetic pulse, it was electromagnetic heat, radiation. That's why Godzilla was able to burn that hole down into the earth. And I want to show you something else very, very specific. Charging up, my man, charging up. Listen, man, dragons don't breathe fire, man. Dragons breathe straight up etherical energy, straight up ether, all day long, lightning all day long. They lied to us, man. They lied. Straight up bullshit. That's exactly why they got Godzilla charging up. That's exactly why they're wearing Faraday cages, because it makes absolutely no sense to try and fight a dragon that's only breathing fire. That never made any sense. All you got to do is look at the weaponry, then look at the armor, and it starts to tell you a story. Look at the armor. Look at it. What's that in the middle right there? That's a horse's saddle. And as I sat there and I said, if they're going to fight a dragon, they're going to need an ether sword. And then when I go to grab my sword, boom, for when the dragon attacks, the lightning comes all the way down, comes through my Faraday cage. I ground that joint, and we just keep going at it. And I know some of y'all probably saying like, yeah, man, but what about if you on a horse, though? Come on, man. You think your boy ain't think that far into it? Because, of course, if you're going into the battle on a horse and you're fighting dragons that release EMPs, then your horse is going to also need chainmail. Is he not? Yeah, so the charge goes through you, through the horse, and it gets grounded. Through you, through the horse, gets grounded. Through you, through the horse. This isn't by mistake. I'm pretty sure y'all are seeing what I'm seeing here. Uh-huh. Chainmail, grounded, antenna, EMP, strike, dragon. Let's go. Antenna, EMP, strike, Faraday cage, on horse, dragon. EMP, strike, armor on horse. Starting to like my chainmail. Y'all see my point? Why would you cover your dragon in a Faraday cage if you weren't fighting a dragon that was shooting out EMPs? Come on, y'all. Come on now. Come on, man. What? That's drip. 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 Super drip. And they also put the antenna on his head so that he could absorb a strike. What do you think that's there for? But when the mind's blind, the eyes can't see.
This video here is going to show you how the Knight's weapons used to generate energy like shooting electricity. When I was a little kid, I loved swords. He-Man, Thundercats. So can you imagine a sword that shoots lightning? That would be sick.
You might have heard stories from the past about these knights, but I bet you've never seen weapons like this. Did you know that knights was using weapons that could generate and shoot out electricity? Oh my days. I want you to take a good look at the handle of this sword. Coils generate vortexes. Vortexes create an electromagnetic field. Magnetic field conducts currents in and out lines of force in a torus circuit. It is said, when parrying with a flame-barred sword, unpleasant vibrations can transfer into the attacker's blade. These vibrations cause the blade to slow contact with each other because additional friction is encountered with each wave. X-rays of a Bronze Age sword grip's intricate designs indicate some sort of tech. The question is, why? This is a modern day example of that same weapon in use. They was able to convert natural atmospheric energy into electricity, and underneath their armor, they will be wearing special protective grounding suits to prevent them from electrocuting themselves. Trust me, brother, the truth is stranger than fiction.
Iris high-power microwave system designed to eliminate drone swarms instantly. Unlike conventional weapons that rely on expensive missiles or gunfire, Leonidas uses directed energy to fry enemy electronics in milliseconds. No bullets, no explosions, just pure electromagnetic power. The best part? It doesn't just target one drone at a time. Leonidas neutralizes entire swarms, wiping out dozens or even hundreds of threats simultaneously. Whether it's a small tactical drone or a high-speed kamikaze UAV, this system renders them useless before they can strike. From military bases to critical infrastructure, Leonidas is the next-generation shield against drone warfare.
Very cool. It can knock down electronics and swarms of drones at one time. What happens if it accidentally hits a plane, or if it's accidentally pointed at your house?
The United States military has a new top secret weapon known as the ICD, Invisible Camouflage Dome. The technology is unknown. With this new weapon, the United States military is now unstoppable on any battlefield against any country. The ICD weapon provides invisibility for military bases, Navy ships, and fighter jets.
That's pretty cool. Invisibility for your base, your Navy ships, and your fighter jets. Who thinks maybe they're fighting above our heads now, cloaked in invisibility?
DW weapons, direct energy weapons, are not what you think.
Very fast. The IceCube neutrino detector is not simply a passive listening device as presented for the science that they're claiming it to do. It also has the capacity to transmit. There are embedded in the ice what are called digital optical modules, DOMs. They're about the size of a basketball. The array embedded in the ice is 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. It is the world's largest telescope. And now, because we have proven that it can transmit, it's the world's largest directed energy weapons system. It is responsible for the earthquakes in Christchurch, New Zealand in 2011 on the front end of the year.
How do you know for a fact that that was responsible for that?
Because I was present and I have gone over this with the pertinent people, that I will not be releasing their names.
Okay.
But I was on the team, let's just say, and I've confirmed this.
Well,
I've provided documentation from the actual manufacturer's specs. So this unit was constructed, operated, and maintained by the University of Wisconsin. And just like every other device on the planet, whether you're driving an M1 Abrams tank or operating the IceCube neutrino detector, there's operators manuals that tell you how things work. Right there in that information, free for everybody to find. I found it myself. I was directed to find it, I'll put it that way, and release this information. And it states very clearly that each one of these DOMs can transmit at 2,047 volts each. So these are currently the facts of life.
how do you know? I mean, how do you? I guess what I'm asking is, how did it even come to your attention that this triggered an earthquake? If you're at the South Pole and New Zealand had an earthquake, I mean, how did you know it came from the South Pole?
Without divulging names, I could only say that it was communicated to me from team members that were present and fully read in at the time that they were aware. And since
When they say South Pole, that station is in Antarctica, people.
that time,
At the immediate, like the same day?
oh, absolutely, it was understood
Well, what was said?
that we accidentally hit Christchurch, New Zealand twice when they were trying to fire up this weapon for the first time. That it was friendly fire. It was not on purpose, but it occurred. That the system is designed for that, and it was just friendly fire.
So this is a telescope. That sounds like a. Is it a telescope?
Absolutely, it is. It is a neutrino detector for sure. It can accomplish its primary purpose. It can also transmit and then provide a multifaceted platform for directed energy weapons systems.
Do you have any idea how the earthquake was initiated?
From misfiring the system.
Where
were they targeting?
Yes.
I don't know.
Does it go into the earth? Does it go into the atmosphere?
It can definitely go through the earth. I would consider that it might be able to do stuff in the atmosphere. I haven't heard that statement laid at its feet, but I wouldn't put it past it. I don't want to try to limit the functions of this device by my imagination or experience. I believe that's one of the problems with directed energy weapons, is they are not like standard weapons of old where you have a gun and a particular caliber bullet, you pull the trigger and it does one thing. These platforms are way more complex than that. They do.
Have we been lied to about what really happened in the Great Fires of the 1800s? Places like Chicago, San Francisco, Baltimore, Charleston, many
Were direct energy weapons used for great resets?
cities were destroyed. The pictures that you see are the remains of what was. And in this case, we see these neoclassical ruins. Something like we might see in Greece or Rome. And they've all been destroyed by fire. Now, how can that happen? How can we watch these huge granite buildings burn to the ground from fire? In many cases, we're talking about the complete destruction of the entire city center and all of the businesses and everything else. And you can see from these pictures, it was just absolutely chaos. But it's strange to look at these people in the photos. It almost looks like they're staged photographs. But was fire really to blame for all of this? Or is it possible some type of energy weapon was used and history was erased?
I threw this video in just so people realize just how important it is, the Second Amendment, and that we fight for that.
You can't argue with facts. In 1911, Turkey established gun control. They took away the guns from their citizens. From 1915 to 1917, 1.5 million Armenians, unable to defend themselves, were rounded up and exterminated. In 1929, the Soviet Union decreed gun control. And from 1929 until about 1953, over 20 million dissidents, people that disagreed with the government, who had opposing political views of the regime, 20 million were rounded up and exterminated. On November 11th, 1938, Nazi Germany decreed gun control. From 1939 to 1945, over 13 million Jews and others were rounded up and exterminated because they were unable to defend themselves. China established gun control in 1935. From 1948 to 1950, 20 million political dissidents, that means they disagreed with the government, 20 million were rounded up and exterminated because they were unable to defend themselves. Guatemala established gun control in 1964. From 1964 to 1981, over 100,000 Mayans were exterminated because they were defenseless. Uganda established gun control in 1970. From 1971 to 1979, over 300,000 Christians were rounded up and exterminated because of their beliefs and the inability to protect themselves. Cambodia established gun control in 1956. From 1975 to 1977, over 1 million educated people were rounded up and exterminated. Let's look at a more recent case study, Australia. Australians were recently forced to give up over 600,000 personal firearms. And since that has happened, here are the statistics. Homicides nationwide are up over 3.2%. Homicides went up in Australia after gun control. Assault in Australia is up 8.2%. Armed robberies up 44%. In the state of Victoria in Australia, crimes with firearms has increased over 300%. Figures from the past 25 years in Australia show a steady decline in gun violence. But because they confiscated the guns from law-abiding citizens, people just wanting to protect themselves, the statistics of crime, assault, homicide have risen. There's also been a dramatic increase of assaults and abuse of the elderly since Australia took the people's guns away. Under the guise, under the fake pretense of wanting to protect you, they want to restrict your right to be able to protect you and yours. Guys, we need to learn from history. In the 20th century, over 56 million people have been exterminated, killed, rounded up, and eradicated by the very government who restricted their rights.
A weapon that can send a voice into your head without a sound. It's real, it's patented. Voice to Skull, or V2K, is a real concept.
That's a direct energy weapon too, just a different form where they can get inside your head, inside your immune system with different frequencies and vibrations by these weapons. This voice to skull thing is crazy. When it happens in the future, most likely for a false alien invasion or when they want you to think the Lord's returning. Don't fall for it.
Concept from military and tech patents. The goal: deliver audio signals directly into a target's brain using microwaves or directed sound. Patents filed in the early 2000s describe audible speech with no external source, silent sound spread spectrum, the ability to implant ideas via voice-based suggestions. Some whistleblowers say V2K has been used in psychological operations. Others claim it's tested on civilians, often dismissed as delusions. But the tech exists, and that's not a theory. This is File 030, voice-to-skull technology. Visit the classified.
There's a theory there might have been ancient nuclear wars in the past. It might sound crazy, but ancient Indian texts mention something that sounds familiar. Something you could probably call ancient UFOs. Something that sounds like a detailed description of atomic bombs. Some of the ancient structures almost look like they were melted by some energy weapons. Seems like people in the past were capable of melting stones, either as means of warfare or more practical uses.
You think these planes with these direct energy weapons mounted in the nose of the plane could possibly start fires with these invisible lasers, modify the weather? I don't know. What do you think? You let me know. Don't forget to get that blue paint and blue tarps.
World's first airborne directed energy weapon, the airborne laser, also known as the ABL. Just mounting the ABL requires one of the most sophisticated and elaborate modifications in history. The entire nose section is removed and retrofitted, and the world's largest titanium plate is installed to hold the enormous turret-mounted laser in place. The ABL system is designed to find, track, and destroy an enemy target in the air and on the ground. It can loiter at 40,000 feet for 5 hours, refuel in midair, and destroy a target 60 miles away in less than a second.
I physically held a key that opened every single door in the facility. I had complete access to every compartment they manufactured.
What are you blowing the whistle on?
That there are technologies at the South Pole Station that people can't even consider that exist on this planet. Directed energy weapon systems is something that people need to get in their vocabulary fast. The directed energy weapon systems.
The U.S. Air Force uses these weapons. What are they capable of? The public doesn't know the full story. These weapons fire laser beams with pinpoint accuracy, capable of targeting anything, anywhere. Direct energy weapons are not science fiction. They're real and they're terrifying. Unlike conventional weapons, DUWs use focused energy, like lasers or microwaves, to damage targets. These weapons can melt metals, ignite fires, and disrupt electronics from a distance. Take a look at this footage. It shows unusual burn patterns and inexplicable damage. Notice how some objects are completely incinerated while others nearby remain untouched. Natural disasters? It's time to wake up.
Lockheed Martin produces systems that do everything from detect the threats to identify the threats, determine whether it's a threat to the aircraft, and then employs the appropriate weapon, in this case, a laser weapon system.
What we're hearing from our customers is that they need a layered, multi-domain defensive approach that can be integrated across platforms to neutralize these threats across all those domains. Imagine an aircraft equipped with a laser system with the capability to be able to neutralize a threat at the speed of a lightning strike, the precision of a surgical scalpel, with the magazine to deal with a swarm, and with the scalable effect to be able to address that threat, providing an effect all the way the one end from simply deterring it for a short period of time, all the way up to completely neutralizing and defeating that threat.
We were able to integrate our laser weapon system, Athena, into the classified C2 network and receive cues from the radar on the range in order to execute the full kill chain.
The Helios laser weapon system builds on 40 years of combat system engineering and radar excellence. That is a fundamental change for laser weapon systems, which here to date have been prototypes added to a ship. Helios will be integrated into the ship.
So what's exciting about this technology is that it's scalable. It's lived in the laboratory for many years, but has finally reached the power levels and the effectiveness to allow it to be used on the battlefield. As an example, today's laser weapon systems can be used to defeat rockets, artillery, mortars, and even small UAVs. And as that technology and capability scales, the effectiveness scales with it. We'll be to the point here shortly where we'll be able to defend aircraft against incoming missiles and even reach out over long distances and destroy ballistic missile threats.
Laser
or green or something like that. Real lasers, one of the key advantages that they provide is that they are invisible. You actually can't see them. You just see this damage suddenly starting to blow something up. So if we take a look now at what the Athena did to a truck. So we're looking at a truck engine, and the Athena within seconds was able to beam right in there, heat the whole thing up, and burn through the engine of this vehicle. So if you can imagine if you were in that vehicle, all of a sudden, this hole would start appearing in your engine, and the whole thing would just disappear. That's what these lasers do. Now, there's some other key advantages that we should mention. Let me give you 3 of them. 1, unlimited ammo. As long as we have power, we have an unlimited magazine. And downrange, of course, having unlimited ammo can be a huge advantage. 2nd, it's silent. You don't give the enemy any advance warning that it's coming. Now, the 3rd one I wanted to touch on is that it travels at the speed of light. So not only are we delivering powerful, decisive.
First authoritative government report concluding the victims were most likely hit by directed pulsed radio frequency energy. The lead author was Stanford microbiology and immunology professor David Wellman.
That form of microwave radiation is really not terribly common in the world around us. It's sometimes used, for example, in radar systems. It sometimes is used in clinical medicine for treatment of certain ailments, but it's not common in the home around us or in the world that we normally frequent. And that's what makes it a little bit unusual, and sort of the message behind it a little bit different.
The message: someone may have pointed a non-lethal weapon at U.S. government employees in order to harm them.
Weapons like that are pointed at people every day, and nobody's aware or knows of it.
Direct energy weapons. They've been around for a very long time. There was a time when the magnifying glass was one of the most deadliest weapons on this earth. If you ever come across this weapon, guaranteed, brother, somebody's getting smoked. This weapon was very simple to use, but the results was deadly. All you needed was the rays from the sun, a giant magnifying glass, and guaranteed somebody's getting slewed. This is somebody using that same method in modern day times. The heat from the sun would be amplified so much that it would melt solid stone. Oh my diddy. So this is another reason why we see all of these melted ruins all over the world.
A lot of people are claiming
some of them direct energy weapons you see today that are mounted on these planes and tanks and stuff look just like a really advanced magnifying glass to me.
the Maui fires were caused by dew. And I'm not talking about this dew or that dew. I'm talking about these dews. Directed energy weapons use highly focused energy, including lasers, microwaves, particle beams, and sound beams. And while this might sound like something from a sci-fi movie, these are actually a real thing. The technology was invented in the 60s, and the first time it was actually used as a weapon was in 2002 by the US and Israel. Since then,
you believe that,
the technology has come a long way. But is it really possible for these to start the fires we saw in Maui? Let's find out. The theories imply it was either a plane-mounted or satellite-mounted laser. So what is the max distance for these lasers? Well, based on what I was able to find, the lasers that are used for weapons can travel up to about 12 miles or so. And satellites typically orbit the Earth around 12,000 miles up, with the lowest
satellites do not orbit the Earth, people. Weather balloons hold up satellites below the firmament,
being at 104 miles up. So I think it's safe to rule out a satellite laser as the culprit. Now let's look at planes. The Boeing YAL-1 was the first laser-equipped airplane tested in 2007. So we do have planes with dews, and if the plane was flying low enough, it is theoretically possible for this plane to cause a fire on the ground with its laser. But let's be real, these things are massive. And so far, they've only been mounted on big planes like a 747 or an AC-130, which would be pretty obvious flying that low over Maui. So
that's what they tell you they're mounted on. You have no idea what different things these direct energy weapons are mounted on or are not mounted on.
Ben, I'm the technical partner with Dragonfire. So Dragonfire's laser-directed energy weapon demonstrator that we've been building in order to prove the technology around laser weapons to show that they're genuinely practicable technology for delivering weapon systems. The laser weapons are something that are brand new. We don't know what their benefits are going to be, technically whether it's actually going to be
brand new since the 60s when they were patented,
be achievable to use them. But the sense is that this has the potential to be something that could be absolutely game-changing. Our current weapon systems are large, expensive, heavy, and the logistics chain required to move them around is extraordinary. Something which we can just fire using a laser weapon and have on our platforms is potentially going to be much cheaper and achieve the same effects at a much lower cost.
Working collaboratively with DSTL as an industry representative, it's been a really good experience. In some ways, you forget that actually it's a partnership between industry and MOD and DSTL, and we actually work together as one team, very, very closely delivering the capability.
To the very core of capability development for the UK Armed Forces. At the heart of that transformation is the speed of innovation that we get from having such brilliant scientists based here at DSTL. What this place has been able to do over the last year is bring to bear the brilliance of UK defence science in partnership with the UK defence industry and defence intelligence and the cunning of the UK military and the Ukrainian military in order to be able to deliver capability at pace for the Ukrainians that has not only kept them in the fight, but put them in the position where they can win. And this place has a lot to be proud of for the fact that we've reached that point. There's £20 billion being invested in UK science and technology. It's There's a lot to be proud of for the fact that we've reached that point. There's £20 billion being invested in UK science and technology. It's
We will be required to operate in a variety of ways, from major conflict to humanitarian operations.
Cities evolving, expanding, getting smarter.
I've been identified.
Getting fuller.
The primary route to the target is blocked.
More vertical.
opportunity, fire, or maneuver.
More literal.
This is what new to us, Mom.
More connected. More disconnected.
Information operations vital, sir.
More vulnerable.
No one speaks this dialect, sir.
More hostile. More polluted.
Sir, we now have a humanitarian crisis on our hands.
More extreme. Our science and technology can rise to the challenges of the future battle space and give us an unprecedented advantage. With AI, we can create autonomous resupply systems and combat vehicles. With advances in novel sensors, we can enhance human-machine teaming.
Teleexistence, a user can project their physical presence to a remote location.
We can look beyond the future generation of science and technology and leap ahead. With novel computing, we can be faster, lighter, and lower powered in the field. We can pass intelligence and improve capability regardless of location.
Conche tu madre. Cuando vuelva la luz, va a volver a explotar. Oye, justo hay una micro ahí, weón. Ah. Ahora, ¿cómo vamos a comer hamburguesa?
Let's take a look at what's going on in California here. This is roughly where Vandenberg Air Force Base is. You see that emanating out towards the coast from there? Watch, boom. See that right there? Those pulses that look like the Wi-Fi symbol. Yeah, that's microwave energy. It's coming down here as well, but it's a different pattern. You see that? They're shooting out into the ocean to dissipate any moisture that might be coming to save us from their heat wave that they're inducing. And you see this massive pulse going from east to west and all these NexRed towers here. But you can pull up on a map and see the positions and see how they're radiating. It's not birds, honey. It's not weather. See? Fixed position. You see the towers, the black in the center. All right, it's emanating outwards from that. We're being microwaved.
"20 inches of rain. The river rose 26 feet in just 45 minutes. But it wasn't just weather. The storm didn't move. It hovered, like it was locked in place. HARP, the military's ionosphere weapon officially for research. Unofficially, weather control. Patent number 4,686,605 outlines how to manipulate weather using high-frequency waves. M-bursts were detected days before the flood. Radar lit up with unnatural grid patterns. 27 died at a Christian summer camp. Why them? Why that day? This wasn't chaos. This was coordinated. If they can control the weather, why wouldn't they? Follow at Forbidden Ripped.
Well, those are all the videos I had for you today. My thoughts on it. We started out with the dragon. I think that's pretty interesting, even though dragons don't exist. Imagine they were breathing EMP radiation. And what are our direct energy weapons made out of today, like the lasers and the EMP and all that stuff? You think maybe we were killing them, studying them, and reverse engineering it? Maybe that's how these past civilizations turned cities that were powered for free. They took the same technology and used it on the buildings with the antennas on top and all this cool stuff. I mean, you never know. But these direct energy weapons are used for many things. I believe they're used for starting fires, earthquakes, floods. They're used to get inside of our mind, weaken our immune systems, program us, all kinds of stuff. Don't forget to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.